In the shadows of World War II, Nazi Germany pursued a weapon so devastating that, if completed, it could have rewritten history. Deep within hidden laboratories, scientists worked feverishly on a secret atomic bomb, a project cloaked in secrecy, deception, and unimaginable danger. Hitler's obsession with ultimate power drove men to the edge of science and morality, racing against time while the Allies fought to uncover every clue. What if this weapon had succeeded? Could the Third Reich have won the war? Today, declassified files reveal a chilling truth: the Nazis came closer to nuclear annihilation than anyone ever imagined. Prelude: Nazi obsession with power. By the mid-1930s, Adolf Hitler's vision of a 1,000-year Reich was no longer just political rhetoric. It had become a meticulously engineered obsession. Every conquest, every military maneuver, and every scientific experiment was a stepping stone toward total domination. While the world focused on tanks, blitzkrieg, and the relentless expansion of the Wehrmacht, Hitler quietly placed his faith in a far deadlier force: atomic power. At the center of this clandestine endeavor stood Werner Heisenberg, Germany's most brilliant physicist, whose genius in quantum mechanics and nuclear physics earned him a place at the top of the Reich's scientific elite. Alongside a handful of leading scientists, Heisenberg was tasked with a mission that was as ambitious as it was terrifying: unlock the atom. Uranium, the mysterious mineral whose potential for destruction the Allies had barely begun to comprehend, became the linchpin of a secret project shrouded in layers of deception and military secrecy. These scientists worked in isolation, their laboratories hidden in mountains, forests, and abandoned industrial complexes. Every calculation, every experiment, was conducted under strict supervision, with the knowledge that failure was unacceptable and discovery by the Allies could mean the immediate end of their work and their lives. Hitler himself took a personal interest, visiting laboratories and interrogating progress reports, driven by the conviction that this forbidden weapon could turn the tide of war. Rumors of success and failure circulated within Nazi ranks, whispered by officers who feared the consequences of such power falling into the wrong hands, or failing entirely. The world would never have known the extent of these ambitions if it weren't for the painstaking post-war investigations and declassified intelligence reports. What the Nazis sought was not merely victory, it was the ultimate leverage, a weapon capable of reshaping the map of Europe and the fate of humanity itself. This obsession with atomic supremacy set the stage for a story of ambition, secrecy, and near catastrophe, one that would remain buried in the shadows until the truth began to emerge decades later. The science behind this secret, the core of Hitler's nuclear ambitions, lay in a force the world had barely begun to understand: the atom. At its heart was uranium, a mineral of extraordinary potential, whose nucleus could release energy far beyond anything the conventional bombs and artillery of the era could deliver. To the Nazi scientists, splitting the atom was not a theory, it was a race against time, a gamble with the fate of the Third Reich hanging in the balance. Werner Heisenberg and his team quickly realized that unlocking this power required more than brute force. It demanded precision, ingenuity, and a terrifying willingness to push science to its absolute limits. Uranium had to be refined and enriched, isolating the isotope U-235 from its far more common counterpart, U-238, a process so delicate that a single miscalculation could set the entire project back months, or even years. Heavy water, sourced from Norway and strictly guarded by the Nazis, became the lifeblood of their reactors, the silent medium through which the nuclear chain reaction could finally be achieved. The challenge was immense. The team faced shortages, Allied bombing raids, and internal sabotage that threatened to halt progress at every step. Yet they innovated relentlessly, designing experimental reactors, testing containment materials, and calculating the precise conditions under which uranium could release its explosive potential. Every successful experiment, every tiny gain, was shrouded in secrecy, shared only among a select few who understood both the brilliance and the danger of what they were attempting. Despite these efforts, progress was slow, and tension ran high. The Nazis were desperate, fully aware that even a small delay could mean losing the war entirely. Heisenberg and his colleagues were haunted by both the possibility of failure and the catastrophic consequences of success falling into the wrong hands. The science was thrilling, complex, and almost beyond comprehension, yet it was pursued with the cold precision of men determined to defy history itself. By 1944, the question that loomed over the Reich was not whether the bomb could be built, but whether time would allow it. Each calculation, each experiment, each clandestine shipment of uranium carried the weight of the war on its shoulders. And while the Allies remained largely unaware of the full scope of these efforts, the shadow of Nazi atomic ambition stretched across Europe, a silent and terrifying reminder of how close humanity had come to a weapon that could have rewritten history. Hidden factories and declassified operations, and far from the eyes of the Allies, the Nazis constructed a hidden web of laboratories, uranium mines, and experimental military facilities designed to keep their atomic ambitions secret. Deep in the forests of Thuringia, mountain complexes were carved into solid rock, housing heavy water reactors and laboratories filled with gleaming uranium rods and esoteric scientific equipment. These were no ordinary research sites. They were fortress-like, layered with security checkpoints, armed guards, and surveillance systems designed to ensure that neither spies nor curious locals could uncover the truth. The stakes could not have been higher. Allied intelligence had some inklings of Nazi atomic research, but the scale and sophistication of these operations was staggering. In Norway, the Vemork Heavy water plant became the focus of daring Allied sabotage missions. Paratroopers risked their lives to destroy key components of the nuclear chain, knowing that even a single successful reactor could tip the balance of the war. Meanwhile, in occupied Europe, small-scale mines extracted uranium with grim efficiency, and convoys transported the raw material under strict secrecy, often guarded by SS detachments ready to eliminate any threat. Within the Reich itself, tension simmered between scientists, military officers, and Hitler's inner circle. Some believed the project was a fool's errand, a dangerous distraction from conventional warfare, while others argued that atomic supremacy could make Germany invincible. Heisenberg's team faced immense pressure, their every experiment scrutinized, every misstep potentially catastrophic. Internal rivalries and ideological disagreements created additional layers of complexity, with secret reports, rival projects, and even accusations of sabotage threatening to derail progress. Espionage added another dimension of danger. Allied agents, resistance fighters, and even defecting scientists gathered fragments of intelligence, piecing together the outlines of a program that seemed almost mythic in its ambition. Yet despite these efforts, the true scale of the Nazi nuclear project remained elusive. Hidden in layers of bureaucracy, misinformation, and brute secrecy, the laboratories were more than buildings. They were symbols of a regime obsessed with ultimate power, a testament to the dangerous fusion of genius and fanaticism. Every hidden factory, every clandestine shipment, and every guarded corridor told the story of a race that was equal parts brilliance and madness. The Nazi atomic project was a shadow war within the war, a battle fought not with tanks or planes, but with knowledge, secrecy, and audacity. And while the Allies worked tirelessly to uncover it, the Reich pressed forward, driven by ambition and fear, inching closer to a weapon that could have changed the world forever. Hitler's strategic gamble. By 1944, Hitler's obsession with an ultimate weapon had reached a fever pitch. He viewed the atomic bomb not merely as a tool of war, but as the final instrument to secure his vision of an unassailable Third Reich. In private meetings with his generals, he spoke of a weapon that could obliterate entire cities, crush Allied morale, and force the world into submission. Every decision, every resource allocation, was filtered through the lens of this singular obsession. Hitler's gamble was as psychological as it was strategic. He pushed his scientists relentlessly, demanding progress at a pace that defied both physics and practicality. Delays were met with fury, breakthroughs became political leverage, evidence of loyalty or failure. Within the Reich, the fear of falling behind the Allies added tension to an already volatile hierarchy. Generals, ministers, and scientists all understood that the success or failure of the atomic project could determine their own fates, and the fate of Germany itself. The what-if scenarios loomed over every decision. If the bomb had been completed in 1945, even a single deployment could have forced the Allies into negotiations, bought the Wehrmacht critical months of offensive action, or changed the trajectory of the war in Europe entirely. Hitler envisioned city-sized destruction in London, Moscow, or Washington. A psychological weapon as much as a physical one, designed to shatter morale and accelerate victory. Yet the practical limitations, the scarcity of uranium, the complexity of enrichment, and the fragility of early reactors, tempered the fantasy with a grim reality. Still, the gamble drove innovation and desperation simultaneously. Every laboratory experiment, every heavy water shipment, and every uranium cache was treated as a move on a giant strategic chessboard. Hitler's obsession intensified the war effort while destabilizing his inner circle, creating a climate of paranoia and urgency. Commanders feared both Allied discovery and internal sabotage. Scientists worked under constant surveillance, knowing that failure could mean imprisonment or worse. Ultimately, Hitler's atomic gamble was a mirror of his broader strategy, bold, uncompromising, and perilously detached from reality. It demonstrated a regime willing to flirt with apocalypse in the pursuit of ideological dominance. And as the war edged toward its climax, the question remained: how close had the Third Reich truly come to altering history with a weapon the world was never meant to see? Allied intelligence and countermeasures, While Hitler poured resources into the atomic project, the Allies were quietly working to uncover every secret the Nazis tried to conceal. Intelligence agencies across Britain, the United States, and occupied Europe meticulously pieced together fragments of information, building a picture of a program that seemed almost mythic in its ambition. Every intercepted telegram, every captured document, and every whisper from defecting scientists became a crucial piece in a puzzle that could determine the fate of the war. Norway's Vemork heavy water plant became a focal point for these efforts. Allied operatives risked capture or death to sabotage the facility, planting explosives that crippled the production of heavy water essential for nuclear experiments. Simultaneously, undercover agents infiltrated German supply lines, gathering intelligence on uranium shipments and laboratory locations. Each operation required precision, courage, and the understanding that failure could allow Hitler's ultimate weapon to advance unchecked. The Allies also relied on scientific espionage. Physicists in exile, many of them Jewish scientists who had fled Nazi Germany, provided crucial insights into the feasibility and progress of the German nuclear program. Their knowledge helped analysts separate propaganda from fact, exposing exaggerations while highlighting real threats. By correlating this intelligence with aerial reconnaissance, intercepted communications, and battlefield reports, the Allies created a dynamic, real-time understanding of Germany's nuclear ambitions. The success of these countermeasures was not inevitable. Missions were often improvised, dangerous, and reliant on split-second decisions. Sabotage teams navigated treacherous terrain, evaded German patrols, and destroyed key equipment with surgical precision. Meanwhile, diplomats and double agents fed misinformation to confuse German planners, slowing progress and sowing internal doubt. Through this combination of science, espionage, and tactical daring, the Allies neutralized the Nazi nuclear threat before it could be realized. Every destroyed reactor, every intercepted shipment, and every piece of intelligence prevented a catastrophe that might have reshaped the course of the war. By the time Berlin fell, Hitler's nuclear ambitions had been contained, dismantled, and exposed as a perilous but ultimately unrealized dream. In the shadows of history, these Allied efforts ensured that humanity narrowly avoided a weapon of unprecedented destruction, a reminder of how intelligence, courage, and precision can tip the balance in the deadliest of races. The mystery of the missing bomb. When the war finally ended in 1945, the world expected a clear picture of Nazi Germany's nuclear ambitions. Yet what investigators uncovered was far murkier, shrouded in secrecy, lost documents, and unanswered questions that would haunt historians for decades. As Allied forces swept through Germany, they discovered abandoned laboratories, uranium caches, and partially dismantled experimental reactors. Some facilities had been methodically destroyed by retreating Nazis, while others simply vanished without explanation. What happened to all the material, and to the possibility of a fully functional atomic bomb, remained a mystery. Post-war investigations revealed scattered fragments of the truth. Werner Heisenberg and other leading scientists were interrogated under Operation Epsilon, housed in the comfortable but scrutinizing confines of Farm Hall in England. Their conversations, secretly recorded by British intelligence, revealed a mixture of pride, denial, and astonishing technical uncertainty. Some scientists claimed the bomb had never been achievable with the resources at hand. Others hinted at progress that could have been accelerated under different circumstances. The transcripts offered tantalizing clues, but no definitive answers, leaving historians to piece together the fragments like a jigsaw puzzle missing half its pieces. Adding to the intrigue, countless documents had been lost or deliberately destroyed. Nazi bureaucracy had meticulously covered its tracks, and in the chaos of surrender, important files disappeared, some likely smuggled or hidden by individuals hoping to leverage their knowledge later. Conspiracy theories quickly emerged. Had the Nazis secretly shipped enriched uranium to remote locations? Was a partial weapon hidden in the Alps or buried beneath a factory? Or had the bomb never progressed beyond theory, a dangerous idea never fully realized? Eyewitness accounts and anecdotal reports added layers of tension. Soldiers and civilians remembered convoys carrying strange materials, guarded laboratories in the mountains, and cryptic orders from high-ranking officers. While some dismissed these stories as exaggeration, others pointed to unexplained explosions and hidden caches discovered years later, fueling speculation about a weapon that might still have existed in some form. The mystery of Hitler's lost nuclear bomb remains one of history's most compelling what-ifs. Did the Nazis come close enough to threaten the world with a force that could have ended WWII in their favor? Or was it always an illusion, a perilous dream constrained by science, logistics, and time? The evidence suggests both. The terrifying proximity of human ambition and the limits that ultimately prevented catastrophe. Even today, As archives are declassified and historians continue to dig, the question lingers. Somewhere in the shadows of history, the truth waits, half revealed and half hidden, a chilling reminder of what might have been if secrecy, science, and obsession had aligned in Germany's favor. Humanity came perilously close to witnessing a weapon that could have changed everything, and the echoes of that near-miss still haunt the narrative of World War II. Legacy and what could have been, the legacy of Hitler's atomic ambitions is both chilling and cautionary. While the Third Reich ultimately failed to produce a functional nuclear weapon, the race to unlock the atom left a permanent mark on history. It revealed the terrifying intersection of human genius and fanaticism, showing how ambition unchecked by ethics or reason can edge dangerously close to catastrophe. The Nazis' work, fragmented, incomplete, and secretive, served as a stark reminder of how narrowly the world avoided a weapon of unimaginable destruction. In reflecting on what could have been, one is forced to confront the fragile balance between scientific progress and human morality. A successful Nazi bomb would not only have altered the outcome of World War II, but could have reshaped the geopolitical landscape for generations. Cities could have been obliterated, armies decimated, and the course of civilization fundamentally rewritten. The Allies' intelligence successes, combined with the inherent limits of Nazi resources and knowledge, prevented a disaster that could have surpassed even the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in its potential consequences. Yet the story of the lost bomb is more than a tale of missed destruction. It is a testament to the tension, the uncertainty, and the human drama unfolding in real time. Scientists worked under duress, leaders gambled with the fate of millions, and spies risked their lives to avert a catastrophe no one could fully anticipate. History in those crucial months was suspended on a knife's edge, and the outcome we now take for granted was far from guaranteed. The allure of the "what if" continues to captivate historians, scientists, and enthusiasts alike. Every declassified document, every recovered lab note, and every eyewitness account invites speculation. How close did the Nazis really come? What small differences might have tipped the balance? The unanswered questions imbue this chapter of history with a suspenseful energy that feels almost cinematic, a narrative that could have unfolded very differently. Ultimately, the story of Hitler's lost nuclear bomb reminds us that history is shaped not only by ideology and ambition, but also by human limitations, timing, and courage. It is a tale of near catastrophe, of genius and madness colliding, and of the delicate threads that preserve the world from the brink. As we look back, we are left with awe, respect, and a lingering curiosity about the shadows of power, secrecy, and science that nearly rewrote human history.